We hear from people this version of my church isn't necessarily a cult and my pastor isn't a monster, but something feels off and I feel crazy for even saying that out loud. In Broken Trust, you lay out a spectrum of bad faith experiences from simple like insensitivity to toxic performance-based teaching to outright spiritual abuse, and then all the way to mind control. Can you walk us through that spectrum, and where is the line where a flawed church becomes a dangerous one, and how does someone in the fog of that figure out where their church actually sits in that spectrum?
It fluctuates, and I think that's what makes it somewhat complicated to know, because at some points it can be abusive. And then maybe for a while, there is no abuse, but something still feels off. So you're always doubting yourself. And then sometimes you aren't even aware of maybe some mind control that's taking place until someone speaks into your life and says, hey, what are you doing? It seems like whatever that church or whatever that person says, you just automatically do. Are you, have you compromised? Have you sold yourself out? Or do you think that they're the voice of God? So it's very conflicting. And at the other extreme, I think we have to give grace to people who are just, let's say the leader just had a bad day. It doesn't mean that they're an abusive person. It doesn't mean they're a toxic person even. It just means they had a bad day and they miscommunicated and they feel bad about it. I mean, I know that I wasn't a perfect pastor. I'd hate for people to run around talking about me being as a toxic pastor in a toxic church just because I didn't interact with them well that day, or maybe consistently. Maybe I didn't have the maturity level at that time, which I'm sure was true for many years, and I just wasn't as good of a person as I could have been. That doesn't mean I'm abusive. It is touchy, and I think probably there are some people that misuse the term spiritual abuse, that accuse people of being abusive when they're not. They're just not being a nice guy that day.